I don't know how many of you guys know this, but there are a couple of keyboard shortcuts that people have used pretty regularly in Windows for a long time. It all started off with AltTab. Now, if you do AltTab right now on whatever PC you're on, you will see a list of the different programs that you have open right now and the ability to switch between them. And if you have Windows 7, 8, or 10, that list will have little graphics, and if you have an older version, it will just have the icons. Okay, so that allows you to switch back and forth between different windows. Then, in Windows Vista, actually, they introduced the ability to use the Windows key and the Tab key together to do something a little bit different. And it used to be more of a cascading effect. But now, if I use the Windows key and the Tab key, it looks like this. It shows me a flat representation of all the programs that are currently running on my PC. But it also, at the bottom, shows me that I am running this on something called Desktop 1, and that I also have something called Desktop 2. You may not have this, even if you're running Windows 10 right now, because you may not have ever added a new virtual desktop. So in the taskbar, down at the bottom of the screen, we also have this icon right here. If you don't like the Windows Tab keyboard shortcut, you got this guy right here. That button is the ability to go to what's called Task View. And Task View shows you all of your open windows and, for some reason, something called making a new desktop. So let's see what that's all about. If I click the New Desktop button in the bottom right corner of my screen, I can see here it creates something called Desktop 3. And I want you to notice that when I go to Desktop 3, look around the screen for a second. If you remember, we have PowerPoint and Adobe Acrobat and Google Chrome all open on my computer right now. But when you look at the bottom of my screen, you don't see any of those icons. You don't see any icons for any open programs. That's because if you make a second or a third virtual desktop, you can sort of silo all the things that you have open in one of those desktops and move over to a quiet space to do something else. So this is a really nice way. For instance, when I work, when I get up in front of groups of people and things like that, I'll want to be able to have access to my email, things of that nature very quickly and easily. But I really don't want those little alerts and things to pop up on my screen while I'm in the middle of a session. So in Windows 10, what I can do is I can put my personal email in one of these other desktops and then switch over to a desktop that doesn't run my personal email, and those two things are divided off from one another. So you see here Desktop 2 and Desktop 3 are completely quiet, whereas Desktop 1 has all this stuff open. And so this is the benefit of using this new Task View in Windows 10 and the ability to, like I said, to silo things off so that you're not necessarily always seeing all the things you have open at the same time. We all have this problem at one point or another in our lives where we're doing a couple of different things, and next thing you know, there are like 75 windows open at any given point in time. And so this is a way to say, okay, if I'm working with my kid, I'll be on Desktop 1. And I'll show my kid the YouTube videos of BusyTown. I have a 2-year-old right now, so BusyTown is a big thing for us. And then on Desktop 2, I can actually run InDesign and Photoshop and do my work. And on Desktop 3, I can have my personal email. And so this ability to go into Task View and have multiple desktops is a really interesting tool. So there's my blank Desktop 3 or my blank Desktop 2. Or my Desktop 1 with so much stuff going on. Now I'm going to take a second here and close out Desktop 3 because I don't need it. And you can see it's just that easy to be able to switch between different virtual desktops.